Board games, board games, it's what I'm talking about. Board games, board games, I'm not gonna shout. I am starting off this morning with a little bit of singing, and here this show's for you. It's starting, I'm not going to say it's shiny and new, because I've been doing it for a while. But today you can join in and maybe that will make you smile. Today's a friendly Friday forum for you all. And hello, Xate, whose name is not Paul. Your name's not Helen or Jeff or Katie or Jesse or many other things. And I know that it is quite cheap when I go crazy when I sing. That's not my name. That's not your name. Board games and chaos and other stuff. It's what we're talking about. Board games and all sorts of things. I'm not going to shout. Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bezzy Bath Time Board Game Blether. I am Bez. It is a time of day. Bath time is whenever you want it to be in your heart, and we are blethering about board games. And coming up today is the Friendly Friday Forum. And honestly, like, if you want to jump in, you know what? You're welcome. I'm just going to do so. I'm going to post a link, and yeah, if you want to jump in, you can. If you don't want to jump in, then that's fine. Like, if you're not feeling like you're presentable, I've basically just gotten out of bed, and no, you don't need to be in a bathtub to jump in. I mean, man, are you saying that you really want me to be in a bath in future when I'm streaming? I mean, I feel like that would be logistically difficult. I feel like, I yeah, if you've got that plank across and in the laptop there, I mean, even there, I would be worried about the steam getting into the laptop. I don't know if I would be up for that. I mean, maybe if and I'd have to make sure that there was enough bubbles that had be properly covered. Anyway, no, you don't need to actually be in a bath. It's just the acceptance that, bath time isn't a real thing, and bath time's whenever you want it to be. Same as breakfast, same as brunch, same as bedtime. It's just all a state of mind. Whenever you want to go to bed, you make up your own rules. You go to bed when you want. Anyway, have I ever talked about beds? Have I really gone this far without ever talking about beds? I mean, I don't have a complete list, but I can't remember talking about beds. So yeah, let's say brilliant, brilliant things, brilliant thing, sorry, singular, brilliant thing, what's a little thing which is brilliant? And the brilliant thing of the day is beds. Yeah. Man, Alan's the one with the list, but Alan abandoned us. Oh, such a shame. Yeah, true. Yeah, but Alan will always be in our hearts, and we can always appreciate Alan and be like, yeah, Alan was here at the start, back when it was truly a 1 hour show. I mean, maybe that's just what drove Alan away once it was more than 1 hour, but times change, and like for sure, if you want to jump back, it was 1 hour, Xate. For goodness sake, if I look back at the first few episodes, it was 1 hour. And congratulations on your Amazon delivery notice. So I hope that it's an exciting package. And yeah, Alan isn't here. As far as I can tell, I'm going to actually nip into the Twitch to see who's there. Nipping into Twitch, nipping into Twitch, and going without a hitch. Oh, I see all the people, but I don't see Alan. But anyway, good morning, Alex. It is lovely. Oh, it's a calendar, some forever back mats, and a mini tiny 0.4 litre rice cooker. 0.4 litres. Wow, that is basically 1 pint. Wow, that is crazy. I mean, that's not even a big portion for one person. So it's basically a good portion. It's like, yeah, maybe if you're being sensible with your portion sizes, I probably cook too much. I'm just going to put it out there. And hello, Rob Harper. It is lovely to see you. I hope that you're having a good day. And yeah, for those who are, whoops, for those who are new to the stream, as in those who have just popped in, there's the thing. So it says 0.4 litres is about a portion. It was on super reduced sale and I needed to not pay shipping. So I got it free instead of shipping. That sounds like a decent thing. Anyway, brilliant things. We're talking about beds. Beds are brilliant because, beds are comfy and beds are designed for sleeping, and sleep is important. That's all I'm going to say about this subject. Sleep is important. And yeah, I'm just going to repeat this endlessly until someone says something else. Yeah, sleep is important. And there are times in my life when I've been a bit down and I slept literally 20 hours a day. This was the first time I went to university, and then I realized, hey, this isn't what I want it to be at all. Literally, it took me change from being a design-focused course all about video game design into being a course all about programming, which was a bit of a shock, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, if you want to get into the bed, then you can get into the bed. And yeah, if you want to get into the bed and stream from your bed, that is totally okay. And so yeah, you can, as long as you're decent, you know where the line is. And I think that if there was a line, then Xate, you would be more offended for yourself and embarrassed for going over the line than I think you would be more embarrassed. And way before I felt like you were even getting to. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Just, you're all good. Just, if you want to be comfortable, sometimes you want to snuggle, sometimes you want to have a duvet, and sometimes that's a good thing to do on the couch, but sometimes you just want to snuggle and it's warm with a blanket and you can spread your legs out. You can be like a starfish. You can be like, whoa, and then have your legs spread out if your bed's big enough. And it's designed to be comfortable, and there's a soft cushioning, and if you've got a hard bed, that's fine, but it's just sometimes, yeah. And sometimes just lying on the floor, oh yeah. And sometimes, but don't go just lying on the streets. But seriously, if you've got to, sometimes it's just good to stretch your legs and be like, ooh, really feel that stretch, just an active stretch where you're pushing it away, where you're pushing your foot away, and you can do that on a good-sized bed. Anyway, why do you think beds are brilliant? Yeah, hopefully you agree with me that beds are a brilliant thing, but regardless, that was a brilliant thing. Now let's talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights. Recent highlights, playing games and other delights. Recent highlights. And Alex is a big fan of lying down. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I forgot to get my props. But my recent highlights, my games played, I played Empires of the North. Maybe I can show my photo from the Discord. I also played Point Salad de Pointe, technically, a couple of times. Ooh, and talking about, oh man, this sounds like both a recent highlight and tying into the main theme of the day. Alex's boys have just gone into bunk beds. That sounds amazing. That is okay. I agree. Yeah, very exciting indeed. And so, do you have any other recent highlights? Anyone, feel free to share, whether you want to jump into the video or whether you want to type it up. Either way is good. And so tell us, what are your recent highlights? Have you managed to do anything that you're proud of? Maybe even we can talk about the last week, because if Friendly Friday forums are a thing, then we can just be like, yeah, what have you done the last week that you want to share? Like, if you don't want to share, that's again okay. One of my highlights was, chatting to Vince yesterday and then chatting to Vince after the facts for another like 20 minutes about yeah, the notion of that I'm going to talk about Zombie Tsunami and Fruit Ninja on Sunday, and I said, look, I'm not a fan of Zombie Tsunami and I'm not a fan of Fruit Ninja. Had some interesting things, but it's the biggest fan. And then they were like, oh yeah, I agree. And hello, Xate. Oh my gosh.
Hi, Bess.
The bath.
Hi, Bess.
Oh, I want to take off this banner so we can see a little bit better.
I hear it's bath time.
Oh, I can't hear you.
I hear it's bath time. Am I muted?
Yes, I can hear you now. Let me put on my headphones just so that we don't run into issues. But yeah, I hope that you've been having a good morning. What is it, 11:12 over there?
Yep. I'm not so sure about this bath time thing, though. It's pretty hard to watch a show while in a bathtub, especially to be on one.
Oh my gosh, this is the oh man, you crazy.
Hi.
Hi, Alex, and yeah, that's something that's probably never going to happen again. I mean,
Yeah,
unless I get inspired to start up a future Friday in our bath, even with my clothes on. Although, then how did you make? I guess if you live on your own, you can be sure that it's dry. But if it's me with other people, then I might be worried that there's other people, and it to be wet. Do you know what I mean?
It's not only dry. I also put down a blanket because it's really cold, and I'm getting out now. This was just a joke.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Oh man.
You can hide me for a minute because I want to get out, and this is going to be awkward.
Yep, I'm hiding you. Oh, you could have also turned off the screen. Oops. Yep, Xate is getting out of the bath. Yep. Xate is now out the bath. Xate is giving us a thumbs up. This is an audio description of Xate is now on camera again. And
I'm on camera again already? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Were you wanting me to wait a bit longer?
Well, I don't want people to get dizzy. I have to walk back to my sofa.
Okay. Let me so for future reference, there is a little button on the bottom. I think you can stop your own camera, but I don't see a way that I can stop someone's camera. Only that, whoa, I see what Xate is saying. Yeah, Xate is spinning around quite a bit. And in the background, I can see Xate appeared to be settled down now in front of a green and white background, is giving the thumbs up, which I assume means that Xate wants to be on camera again.
Once.
Oh, that was brilliant. Oh,
I just felt like that joke had to be done at least once on this stream.
That was brilliant. Yeah. And so, yes, how are you? Yeah, do I want to ask that? Sorry. Shall we start off with some more positive things, and then we can get into how we are, if you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk more about the recent highlights and achievements. So yeah, Empires of the North. It was. Have you played Empires of the North? So Imperial Settlers and Empires of the North are the games upon which the Roll and Rights is based. there's a lots of text to read. There's lots of different cards that do different things, and you're putting them together, building up your engine, but it's very much dependent on what cards you draw up. And it's a bit of a weird one because for me, there's a touch too much randomness, and I feel like, oh, managed to get the upgrades at the start, and that got me loads of fish, and I just feel lucky. And it's but yeah, also point salad. We played a couple of times. Layla thrashed me the first time. I played a terrible strategy. I played a card where you get points for not taking vegetables, and yeah, that's one card that basically is a non-bow with everything else, as opposed to combining well. And so that was a terrible decision. The second game, I also lost, but by a much smaller margin. But no, I can't even remember properly. I put the score sheets in the box, but yeah, that was it. I did manage to do some writing, not finish everything, but I did do a wee bit of writing, and that is my highlights. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. How about you? Do you have any highlights?
I really want Aquasulis to get a Friday off now.
Yeah. Do you think that Alex is going to have an actual bath? Like, do you think we're going to see, like, maybe from here, like, let's avoid nipples on this show. Let me just kind of make that a rule, okay?
It would be more doable with Aqua's body than it would be with mine. I'm definitely not actually going to have a bath on the stream.
I mean, I'm just going to make a rule to avoid nipples downwards. That's going to be my new rule, like nudity.
I really wanted to show you my feet, but I guess I won't now.
Yeah, I think that would just get weird.
Wait, but my hands come into focus pretty often, and they're usually lower.
No, like all your arms are okay. Like it's, what is often higher than your hip nipples? Are your feet higher than your nipples?
Sometimes. I mean, I'm sure I could find a reason why they probably not. Actually, I'm not flexible enough, so no.
Okay, so that's now the new house rule. So yeah, exactly. Cover it with bubbles.
Aqua, I really want you to get a Friday off. I mean, not just because you work so much already and it's hard to find time to play games with you, but now I want to have bath time. Wait, no. I want to have a bed show with you.
Oh, this is yeah. This was always going to get weird, wasn't it? Very fast.
Yeah, you planned that though. I mean, it's your fault. So my recent highlight was yesterday not sucking as much as I thought it was going to. I had a lot of people really thinking about me and taking care of me, and someone checked in on me at least every hour, and someone else, and I asked on Idle Michael's stream if anyone wanted to play the crew, because from somebody specifically, no names being mentioned, looking at you, person in the chat, someone gave me a BGA premium thing so I could actually play the crew, and I was really, really looking forward to trying that out. And so yesterday I asked around if anyone, didn't have Thanksgiving plans and felt like playing, and Dina actually and Ken both said, yeah, let's do it. So
Ken Grazier from Michael's show.
I don't know Ken's family name actually, but yeah, Ken from Michael's show. So yeah. Mini Michael. Yeah.
Mini Michael. Did you call Idol Michael Mini Michael? Is this a new...
No, I'm calling Ken Mini Michael. He's like the miniature version of Michael. They're so similar, but not.
Oh, as in Ken is sort of a smaller, reduced, like Michael's a bit more loud and a bit more in your face, and Ken's like, oh.
No, they're about the same on that. I was just thinking about, about how much I like, but no, just kidding. No, but I had actually never talked to Ken before. Oh, it's fine. I can insult Ken all day. He's fine with it. we have that level. It's okay.
So you ended up playing the crew with Dina and Ken.
Yeah, and I'd never actually talked to Ken before. We'd written a little bit in chat on Twitch, but never more than that. And Dina I'd only met, I think, one time in She actually playtested some stuff for me and Aqua once, and that's when we met. So, but I didn't know either of them very well, and so I was like, well, and they didn't know each other, and it was like, when you're playing with people you don't know well, and then you're putting them together in groups, it can go really, really well, or it could go really, really badly, especially if people have certain humor, which I'm not saying anyone involved in this has a weird sense of humor, but but it actually turned out really good, and we had a very good time, and we played for like 3 hours and just talked and had fun, and yeah, so that was my highlight, was getting to play the crew on BGA with no longer strangers.
That's lovely. So how many rounds did you get through?
We got to mission 18.
Ooh, how many are there?
50. And we left the
Okay.
game open. We're still gonna do it. We're gonna finish it together.
So
we had so much fun.
You are planning to make it all the way to the end?
Yeah, we left the game open, all three of us, and we're like, we definitely have to do this again. It was a good group, and it's a fun game. So, yeah.
Nice. So, oh yep. So Rob asks the same question as me. It was 18 missions. We just found out, and yeah. Do you think it deserves the Spiel des Jahres?
I think Spiel des Jahres means less and less every year. Personally, I mean, it's a good game. I don't like card games. I don't like trick-taking games, and I don't like cooperative games. And
yet you still enjoy it.
The crew is all three of these, and I like it. So, yeah, I think it was Kenner Spiel des Jahres, not Spiel des Jahres.
Let me quickly look that up, because so even if I gave people the wrong information right now, I'm going to correct myself, because that's what we're all about on this show. Being wrong, but then being right eventually. So
I did not know that's what we were all about. Well, okay.
I mean, we accept wrongness as long as you're right eventually. It's not about I mean, we prefer to be right if we can be, but if we're wrong, as long as we're right eventually.
All right. I'm probably never going to be right, but that's okay. I have you for that. You can be right. No, I had a great time. I've only played so far in my actual physical copy of the crew. Judith and I are on level 35, but we had to drop from a 4-player game to a 2-player game because of Corona. And that's different. You use like a bot system. We play with fake Mac. And so you see half of fake Mac's cards, and whenever the top card's played, you see the card that's underneath. So you have like some public information, but you also have some information you might have a hard time getting to, and it changes the game a little, but it's still doable. It's still fun. The 3-player version on Board Game Arena, you only have 3 of the suits, not 4, which I don't like very much, and you're missing the number 1 rocket card. So I'd be interested in trying 4-player, because I haven't been able to get all the way through or very far at all in the campaign with 4-player, and I like having 4 suits more. It just seems more interesting to me. So definitely be interested in starting another round of the crew with as a 4-player game. So if people are interested, let's get another one going. Rob, I'm looking at you.
Rob says they were brought up playing trick-taking games, and the crew has some good nostalgia value with some ultralight contracts. And yes, it was indeed a Kenner Spiel des Jahres, which is from the website of Spiel des Jahres DE. I guess they are, but it was indeed pictures, as you are correct, for the Spiel des Jahres. I don't see a link to find the Kinderspiel des Jahres right here. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. Oh, there we go. Kinderspiel des... Oh, yes, it was Speedy Roll. That's the only one of those that I've played so far. Because it's by Gigamic, and I happen to... Yeah, it was by...
What? You have a connection to Gigamic?
I happened to be at their booth, at Cannes Festival International du Jeu 2020. I mean, it was somewhat influenced by the fact that they paid for my hotel to get there, and which was very nice. And who's just oh, hello, Alan. Hey, Alan. And yeah, anyway, so I felt like Speedy Roll was a good quality game. Like, just this bit of Velcro, I feel like in children's games, having a little bit of tactility, I mean, that's what it's all about. And Yeah, I could see that this was a solid Wii game. Anyway, yes. So Rob's up for it. You know what? I don't know if I will commit to a full 50 rounds online because I do have some dislike of playing games online, and yeah, I'm trying to actually move towards playing more even solo games or more do a bit more reading these days, like as my leisure activity, because I find that I prefer that more. Oh, speaking of which, I don't think I told everyone about this new game that I got. Alan Paul might be interested in this. I don't think I ever mentioned this, did I?
I haven't heard about it. I don't know if Alan's heard about it.
So it's by this person that I found on Twitter, Natalia Votovics. And so, yes, this book is about wargaming, as in games that are meant to help NATO, and it's kind of educational games. And I'm still making my way through a game about psychology that I'm going to finish because I have a bad habit of starting off a book and then getting a third of the way and starting with another one. So I'm going to try and make my way through the one about psychology, but I'm very excited to go through this one and yeah, might be chatting to the author. Yes, they are. Natalia is the military consultant from NATO Wargame Designer. So there you go. And professional war games, exactly, that's the one. So a completely different thing to what I normally think about, but very kind of related. And yeah, it would be interested to kind of think about how these things relate and have, yeah, I don't know how much there will be to learn, but I'm very much looking forward to finding out. Yeah, has anyone else had any highlights or should we move on? Alan, Alan, what are your highlights? Alan, Alan, have you had some good nights? Alan and Charlie, I have love for you. Alan and Charlie, how do you do? And Rob also, and Alex and everyone else. Anyway.
I really love you too. Oh yeah. Everybody else. Yeah. You're okay.
Oh, like it's just that Alan just pops in. Do you know what I mean? And Rob says that Rob heard Natalia talking about something a few months ago and fascinating stuff. And yeah, people just get random songs on Fridays. That's what it's all about. Oh, Alan's currently at Virtual Consequences. Oh yeah, so Consequences is this RPG thing, and I saw a post. I'm going to be careful about not revealing too much, but obviously it's just, a time of people coming together and having breakfast together and playing RPGs together. And I think that you can capture a little bit of that virtually, but it's kind of trying to capture what you can, I guess, and trying to keep some of those traditions going. This is just me projecting and hypothesizing. I'm not speaking for anyone else, but yeah. It feels like I hope that you managed to have a good time and sort of, enjoy parts of the typical thing. And so, yeah, anyway, board games starts at 11 o'clock, apparently. And so or 11 o'clock, I mean, UK time, obviously, in 31
I think
minutes.
Alan's doing the military time thing. They always say like 1100 instead of 11 o'clock. My dad used to do that because he was in the military. It was really annoying, but kind of nostalgic for me too now. Like you hear someone say 1100 and you're like, oh, Dad.
Oh. Board game starts at 1100. So, but then when you add minutes, is it just 11:15?
I don't know that the military does anything at 11:07.
I mean, surely if you want military precision, you've got to not just be rounding everything up or down to the nearest 100.
Well, I mean, this is how wars are lost,
I mean, yeah, you need to be talking. You know, I had a conversation with Layla the other day where Layla was talking about how, on the side of what the Manhattan Project, which we played, Layla was kind of, why is it 120 minutes? Why is everything rounded up to those exact times? And I don't even know how to pronounce this. But the point is that Layla was saying if they ever designed a game, what they would do for the first game is just troll everyone and put this game takes approximately 121 minutes. Yeah, Alan, I don't even know what to say anymore. Lunch at 1300, sure, if you wish. I mean, I will be having lunch at closer to 1200. Well, it depends how I get on. I'm trying to have my breakfast earlier. I did have breakfast, a tiny breakfast this morning. I did have one oats cake, just to get my metabolism going, so I've got something in my stomach. How about you? Have you eaten anything today?
I had an iced coffee, which is a great thing to have in an unheated apartment in winter, but I had one left in the fridge from yesterday, and I was tired. I was so tired. I still am so tired. I got, so Thanksgiving turned into this wild thing of too many plans instead of not enough things to do, and Board Game Blitz was streaming until my time, 2 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Then they took a break, and I was able to dissolve myself from the computer long enough to fall asleep before they came back. But I just couldn't pull myself away. It was like there were people in chat that I know over Twitch from the last year, and things were funny and things were going well, and it's just kind of got stuck and was having a good time. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to be tired tomorrow, but aren't you always tired the day after Thanksgiving? It just kind of seemed right. So I kept, hanging out and celebrating, just having people to be with.
That's lovely. And Board Game Blitz, they are lovely, lovely people.
Yeah, I love Envy and Crystal. They're awesome. So
I like the kind of definition, the dictionary corner that they've got going on in the show. I do want to address the fact that apparently Mysterium says 42 minutes on the box. I like that. Not 40 minutes, not 45, 42.
I mean, if you're going anywhere near 40, it needs to be 42.
So I was trying to work out for a moment whether there was a noise coming from outside or from my computer. But I think it says the garbage collection. You can't hear it, can you?
I hear like a fan type noise, but that's it.
So Rob saw 17 squirrels on their walk earlier this week.
Oh, that was like four squirrels, and they were just jumping around a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you know?
Unless they were wearing hats. Were all of the squirrels wearing unique hats? Because that is one way you can tell squirrels apart.
I mean, I am impressed that, Rob
Rob can count to 17? I'm not. Rob's a smart person. Why are you saying this? Come on.
I mean, like, at what point did you start being like, oh, wow, we've seen this many squirrels. Let's keep count of them. Like, and Rob says, yeah, you know what? It might have been 5 squirrels with teleporters, yeah. And they wear bows. Oh, fancy. So, Rob, congratulations, Rob, on your good counting skills. You're excellent. I believe in you. I believe that if you try really hard, you could count even higher. But, yeah, talking about apparently 7 rounds of 6 minutes, so it's just 7 times 6 is 35, yep, 42, yep, that is what 7 times 6 is.
Come on, you already know the answer, come on.
Just confirming it's in my head. Oh, apparently this is a regular thing that Rob just always counts the squirrels. That's actually... So you just go out and... I want to know what's the, like, mode, or what's the median, actually, and what's the mode? Like, what...
Well, the mode is obviously bow ties. So mode, spelled like mode in English, Mode in German is fashion.
Wait, Mode in German means fashion.
Yeah, but it's written the same way as the English word mode. So.
Ich habe gute Mode.
Sure. I mean, I would understand what you're trying to say, yeah.
But it's not grammatically correct.
Well, no, nothing you ever say in German is grammatically correct, but that's okay.
I mean, how would I say it in the grammatically correct way?
Oh, I don't speak German.
Mm.
There are too
You're
many
just here
native
to
speakers who
criticize,
pop in
not
here.
here to teach.
Oh, I have horrible grammar in German.
I have not seen the sea urchins wearing 3D printed hats. I have no idea what you're talking about. Please share a link. I know you can. Just, share a link and we will look at the sea urchins together. And if you can find something that is publicly okay, and I believe that as long as we're reviewing them, which we will be, then we can talk about them and show them on the stream. Rob hasn't recorded all the data, but the feeling is that more than 5 squirrels is pretty good. And so, 17 is. And that's true, a la mode. For sure. Anyway, so I'm waiting for this link, but let's get back to how amazing Board Game Blitz is.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I've always enjoyed their segments that they do on other things. I've always enjoyed Ambi's really, really cool like musical parodies. I mean, they're really top notch. And Crystal has some really fun content that has always been kind of my I'm cooking, so I need something to listen to content. I love the things that she does. And actually, my first time watching Board Game Blitz on Twitch when Lizapalooza raided one time, like the spammers were going crazy saying all kinds of stuff, and nobody could figure out how to. They were new on Twitch, so they couldn't figure out how to mod them. I'm like, just mod me for 15 minutes, and I'll get rid of them, and you can unmod me again. And they didn't even know who I was, but they modded me so that I could take care of it for them, and then they just left me a mod. So I feel special, especially since they mostly stream during hours when I'm asleep, and so it's like totally pointless to have me as a mod. But it's really kind of them. It was sweet. So.
I mean, to be fair, you are pretty good at wielding the sword.
I mean, I actually do know how to wield a sword, too. I took several stage combat classes. So I have a sword and I have several Dagons. What's Dagon in English? The little thin ones that you use to like do fencing. What are they called in English?
Rapier?
Could be. I have a couple of those.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you come to visit, we can have a sword fight.
Maybe?
You can have the theater one, and I'll take the real one.
Wait, why are... Okay, so I'm trusting you not to stab me.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay, so... I don't know if I'm happy to get into this. Let's go to... so following the link...
The urchins.
It turns out that what you want to look at is actually this Twitter status, which I will paste because that's where... So it is... The original link that Alex shared was from Board Panda, which is kind of an aggregator of info, and they just get all this stuff from elsewhere on the internet and like, oh, look at this cool stuff. And so OK_girlfriend says, I was 2 years old when I learned that sea urchins naturally use shells as hats to make them feel safer and camouflaged. So some aquarists had a genius idea to make them tiny hats. And so basically they make the sea urchins feel safer and camouflaged. So yeah, there you go. That is what's going on here. That is pretty cute.
I mean...
And these are the wild ones.
How do they get the shells and the hats up on top of themselves? Like, I guess I don't know how sea urchins move.
I don't know, but this is apparently a photo taken from the wild, according to OK_girlfriend, and that is the. Oh,
It's
these
definitely an area of
urchins
expertise I do not have.
belong to Vanilla Bean 5813 on Reddit, and one of them like to hog the hats.
So who is making a board game out of this?
There you go.
Aqua, I feel like you need to do it because your name works so well for it. Aqua Sulis and the Sea Urchin game. It just kind of, it works.
And so, yeah, if you want to, and so yeah, that is all the information and all the sea urchin hats things. I agree, Rob. That is awesome.
Bez, if you were a sea urchin, what type of stylish 3D printed hat would you want?
I don't know. I feel like maybe what the sea urchins really want is like the biggest hat. Like maybe I'd want a hat that even covers my entire self if I'm feeling a bit agoraphobic.
Like a sombrero type of hat?
But it's a giant sombrero that literally covers most of my body, I think.
I think
how do they perceive? How do they sense things? How do they perceive things? I don't know. I don't know anything about sea urchins.
I want one of those Joker hats, you know, that has all the long little bits coming off with the bells on the ends, because I think it would feel like just an extension of myself, of my sea urchin self.
And yep, Dean Morris, Nosy Wombats on Twitter, is a lovely Australian. I think, is Dean still based in London? I don't know, because I've not seen Dean in such a long time. But Dean Morris had a game with octopuses in hats, true story, and little magnets so they would properly stick on. Dean is all about the 3D printed stuff.
I really need a 3D printer. I want one so much. I was supposed to get one this year for Christmas, but no. And also, I don't want just a regular 3D printer, because anybody can just 3D print in plastic. I would like a food 3D printer so that I can print in chocolate and in biscuits and in noodles.
Noodles are the weird one, because biscuits and chocolate, you know, they start off fairly hard and then you bite into them. Noodles, like, you put them, are you talking like little noodles, like pasta shapes, like just little things like this size, rather than the big thing? Okay,
you know, like pasta in the form of a meatball.
Soup.
Yeah, pasta in the form of a meatball, pasta in the form of
like
your
a
favorite
meatball size
pasta, you know, whatever.
Like,
I mean, it would have to be created to be. You'd have to do some. I'd have to do some research to make sure that they'd be able to be cooked through completely in the time that it takes to cook pasta. So they can't be too thick and they can't be, you know, too much. You can make, you know, empty spaces on the inside if you're doing something that's bigger. But yeah, I really want to 3D print board game themed food.
Hello, Ben. It's lovely to have you. I mean, it must be ridiculously late over there. I think Ben's based in like one of those, you know, far off places in the land that people call the United States of America.
2:44 a.m. Wow.
Is it Las Vegas? I can't remember.
I mean, that's at least West Coast. That's.
But yeah, and yeah, I mean, the reason why I wasn't sure whether it was morning or late at night, because when it's 2, 3 o'clock, you know, are you up incredibly late? Are you awake incredibly early? Or oh yeah, it is Los Angeles.
Was leftover Thanksgiving pie calling your name in the middle of the night?
Oh, I wonder, did you actually do anything for Thanksgiving? Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I kind of remember because of you, because honestly, you are the person that I associate with Thanksgiving.
Gee, that's a happy association.
Also, I'm aware of Thanksgiving from American TV. because, you know, there's a lots of American culture that comes here to the UK, of course. As with every country, you get to see the films and, you know, Friends. And so apparently people have some sorts of different kinds of potatoes, apparently. And turkey. It just feels like a bonus Christmas. I was always a bit...
I don't like traditional Thanksgiving for multiple reasons. So when I was in middle school, my brother did very much love Thanksgiving, but when I was 12 or 13, he went to college and didn't come home for Thanksgiving. And I talked my parents into doing Tex-Mex Thanksgiving with, we ordered tamales and made tacos and chili and enchiladas and all the side dishes and had this huge Tex-Mex style feast. And it went over so well that became our family tradition. So my family doesn't do, you know, turkey and cranberry sauce, which is kind of, I don't understand it. It's got a weird texture. But
so which one? Like the whole thing, or you don't like turkey, or you don't like cranberry sauce?
Turkey's always been kind of dry and boring. Cranberry sauce has got that weird slimy texture that I don't like. I didn't like. I liked stuffing. Stuffing is actually really nice. It just sounds weird.
Stuffing's where it's at. Have you ever had bread sauce?
I don't think so.
Okay, so bread sauce is like this warm sauce. It's made up in bread. You might want to look it up. And I mean, look, if you really don't like turkey, it's not going to save it. But it's kind of basically that's why people have so much sauce on the plate, because yes, turkey might be a wee bit dry. Puts on some sauce.
I don't like gravies very much, so I just prefer not to have that. I like the other side dishes. I like things like I like sweet potatoes a lot, but I don't like them with marshmallows. My grandmother used to put marshmallows on them. That's just too much sugar. But I love sweet potatoes. I love broccoli, which I don't think is traditionally Thanksgiving food, but my family always had broccoli because we have broccoli all the time. And I love broccoli. So any meal to have broccoli at, that's a good thing.
You know, it's weird how these family traditions happen. Like, I know someone who, like, their tradition was sweet corn. And
oh yeah.
Like, I mean,
I don't like that. The texture of that, though, is weird, too.
I can dig sweet corn. I can really dig it. I mean, I'm all about the variance in foods, and so you know what? Because for so long, I've not actually cooked for Chris in a really long time, because Chris comes over on Wednesdays, but they kind of bring something themselves because it's like for work, and so. But you know, when we're having a social over here, it's normally Nicole who comes over because Chris actually likes a lot of alone time. But anyway, the point is that Chris doesn't eat mushrooms. And I just, yesterday, for my lunch, I had a dish that I'd prepared earlier, like some number of months earlier, I don't know how long, possibly like at the start of the year. But
was it old enough to get up on its own and walk towards your plate?
Seats. Anyway, so it had been in the freezer. I defrosted it, I heated it up. It was pears from the garden, it was mushrooms, it was tomatoes, it was peppers, and I normally write on the little plastic container what's in it. So I kind of write on, and then when I put something new in, I cross that off. And it's like, oh, there's mushrooms in here. That's such a delightful surprise. And then I realized how much I love mushrooms. And so, cool. Yeah.
I actually didn't like mushrooms at all. Couldn't stand them. But I have this thing about if something's healthy, I don't have to like it. If I'm served it, I will eat it. And so I was always eating them. And I had this one friend who every time she would cook for me, she'd say, well, is there anything you don't want that you don't like that I shouldn't make? And every time I would say mushrooms. And every time I went to her place, she would make mushrooms. And at some point I was like, Regina, I'm not sure what you're trying to say to me, that you're always making mushrooms when I come, because every time I say I don't want mushrooms, and then every time you make them. And she's like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. But it's like me saying that I didn't want to eat mushrooms kind of made her remember the word mushrooms. So every time she was at the market buying things, she would say, oh yeah, well, she said something about mushrooms. And so she would buy them on purpose to do something nice for me.
Wow.
And so then the next time she asked me if there was anything I didn't want to eat, I said pizza. And we had pizza. So,
Okay, so this is now your cute little understanding.
yeah, but actually, I do like mushrooms now. It was I didn't like them up until the exact day of my 40th birthday, and like I actually had them the day before, and I was like, they were in something, and I just kind of ate around them. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll eat these because they're healthy. And then on my birthday, someone brought. We did like a tapas party, and someone brought stuffed mushrooms, and I was like, "Ooh, these are actually really good." And then from that day on, I've liked mushrooms, and I eat them and everything. So I don't know what happened. The mushroom overlords got to me or something.
I have no idea. I mean, it tastes strange. But are you still wearing headphones? There's a tiny bit of... Okay, maybe it's my internet. So, yeah, I mean, we've just... if there is any questions that people want to ask, feel free, honestly, like, just ask questions, do whatever. And if you want... I was thinking that I am thinking about playing the game that I've not yet opened. I might do a wee unboxing of Detective. I have no idea what's in it. It's another one of those Portal games that I bought it was actually at the start of lockdown, and then I bought the Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, and I bought like 3 different games: Imperial Settlers, Empires of the North, Detective, and LA Crimes, because I was like, yeah, these are all solo games, and maybe I'll enjoy them because it will be a chance to play some games solo. Which Detective? Yeah, the Portal one. Have you played that, Ben? But yeah, maybe I'll just do an unboxing whilst you ramble about whatever.
Okay, somebody give me a topic. What am I rambling about?
I had some
talk about anything.
topics that were here. On the first question for everyone that I had in the description was, how are you? And it's okay if not everything is brilliant, and many virtual hugs. That's what I wrote.
Oh, I mean, my answer to that's not going to be a pretty one. So,
like, do you want to talk about it, or should we skip that? I mean, because that's the thing. Like, should we talk about like when it's okay to like not talk about stuff, or when you want to? Should we talk about talking about stuff? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't really have much of a filter. I don't really care. At one point in my life, I had a burnout, and part of that was spending so much of the life previous to the burnout trying to control what others thought about me, saw about me, trying to put on, a happy face, which is something that I think is more American than European. I grew up in the States, and especially in Texas, everything is very happy, happy, smiley, smiley. And I wasn't that kind of kid, and it really was hard for me to put that. So I bottled it all up, and that led eventually, along with a lot of other stuff, to a burnout. And part of the recovery process from burnout was me learning to accept that I am who I am how I am, and that's okay. And just trying to live authentically and share that and just be, so if anyone ever asks me, how are you doing? I told them. And it's kind of a jarring thing because people aren't necessarily always expecting an answer. And I had to learn a little bit of tact along the way, that you can't always say everything to everyone completely, but you don't have to lie still, finding that balance between I'm great when you're, ripped apart on the insides, and, telling everyone the deepest most traumatic thing that's happened to you in the last 20 years. I mean, there's a balance between there, but I've started to just learn, live honestly, live authentically. And it actually opens up, I think, better lines of communication, better lines of support, and other people feel more open to also share back. So I feel like it, as soon as one person starts being authentic and sharing, other people feel safe to share as well. And it ends up helping more than just me. It helps everyone who is able to also. Yeah. And then the people who asked one time and are like, oh, I didn't mean that, they won't ask again. And the people who did actually care and they did want to know how you are, they will ask again. And you also know when they answer the same question, they mean it, like, so that it led, for me at least, to much deeper friendships. It led to much more authenticity and healing, just being able to move past the things in my life that have been not great, because by talking about them, you're not bottling them up inside for them to come back later. And also you end up meeting people who actually have similar experiences or are going through the same thing or who can understand it, and you end up in communication with one another. And I mean, it just ends up being better long term. And even this past year, I've run into a lot of people who are going through pretty much exactly what I'm going through. I have no idea why you just sent me that, Bez.
Oh, I just sent the link because I need to get it onto my phone, so that I'm just sending.
Yeah, Bez sent me a link to where I'm already chatting with you guys. I'm like, wait, okay, I'll follow that link now.
Will you?
No. It would just bring me back here to the waiting room, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'd have to click the button to let you in again.
Yeah. No, but so I don't mind talking about myself, and if people want to know stuff about the struggles I'm going through, I feel like that's fine, because also and this has been a long process of the last,
I mean, let's put up the banner. Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, so sorry about that loud bang, by the way. I just knocked over the game accidentally. And you can appear twice. But if you do appear twice on multiple things, so let's say, it just messes things up. So, I mean, there was that one time when
Jason ends up on your stream a lot twice.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays.
You can appear loads of times.
This is getting scary.
I'm muting.
So, yeah.
Whoops. You can appear many, many times. I mean, we could. I've never appeared 10 times.
Get that up and get it.
Double the beds for half the price. Anyway. I really like what Ben is saying about venting channels, because I'm part of a Discord channel. I don't know if it's the same one that you're part of. Oh, I'm terrible. Tabletop Polish, who came off Twitter. Anyway, they've got like this Discord channel, which is lovely, and there's like a venting channel, and people just, it's like, okay, that's what's going through people's minds. It's called venting/validation, and that's a nice thing to have. And yeah, let's put up the sad stuff banner for like 5 minutes, and let's let's ask, like, how are you genuinely? Do you want to share, or would you rather not? Like,
right after I said that I answer questions, I don't care. Like,
sorry,
no, that's too personal. I'm just gonna bottle that up now. Today I'm fine. But yesterday I spent most of the morning crying, and the last couple of days have been really hard. So I think actually most people kind of already know. No, I'm going through a divorce. My husband left me out of the blue last year on Thanksgiving. I got papers.
So you have realized that it's for the better.
I mean, my mind knows that. And there are things about it that are better. There are also things about it that are not better, but they're mostly logistics. Emotionally, I know long term, he wasn't a great guy. Just the fact that he chose to leave me on Thanksgiving Day in a letter rather than actually talking to me about the fact that we were having problems when I didn't know we were having problems, because things seemed pretty good. That says a lot about him. And he chose Thanksgiving. He's German, and he knows that Thanksgiving is important to me, but not to him. And so that was also kind of just the timing of it was very calculated to make sure that I never forget. And Wednesday this year, so in Germany, you have to be separated for 1 year before you can file to actually get the divorce. So it takes a pretty long time to go through the process. And so Wednesday, I got the papers that he had filed the divorce. So it's actually going through. And I mean, that still means it's going to take a few months. I don't know when I'll actually be officially divorced, but it's been like a lot of this year I could just kind of ignore it because he used to work in a different city anyway, so I didn't see him all that. I mean, I saw him on the weekends. So it hasn't seemed that different to not see him that much. So I could kind of ignore it and, be like, oh, life's okay. I was distracted. Everybody was in Corona lockdown and nobody was going anywhere anyway. So it just kind of seemed normal-ish. And I also had a lot of, people to talk to and hang out with. And so it's just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. I was really, really sad the first couple months. And then I kind of pulled myself out of it and was, hanging out in groups and doing fun stuff. And I mean, like hanging out with the Loozapalooza community and being allowed to just, vent there a little bit and tell people what I'm doing and have people Skype me or, play games or whatever. And it was really well. But then now it's getting more real again. So it was really hard at the beginning and then it seemed fine. And now it's getting hard again, even though more time has passed. People say time heals all wounds and they do all that whole, those little platitudes. That's not necessarily true because it's been a year now, but it hurts just as much kind of this week as it did a year ago because it's becoming real. And the time between that was kind of disassociated. It didn't feel as real because nothing was happening. His stuff is still in the apartment. There wasn't that much to actually see. And now it's happening. He's, filing and he's coming to pick up his stuff and things are happening and it's changing. And so it's been difficult, just hitting, Thanksgiving again and everyone saying, what are you thankful for this year? And, who are you celebrating Thanksgiving with? And are you going to see your family? And it's all kind of like, well, nope. And nope. So that's why it was, when I said at the beginning that my recent highlight was actually that yesterday didn't bite as much as I thought it was going to. It was kind of hard the first couple hours, but then people were there and they weren't necessarily even there for me. I mean, I had a couple people checking in on me because they knew that it was this time for me that was difficult. But I also had just people who were just like, you know what, I don't have anything to do. I'd like to hang out with you, that didn't necessarily know, that just wanted to have fun and play games. And that was really cool. Heard of the ball in the box idea about trauma and triggers, which has helped rationalize those sort of feelings. Not sure the real name. That sounds interesting, actually.
I don't know this idea, but maybe it's something to Google. The idea is that a bad memory is like a button in a box, and in that box there is a bouncing ball.
Okay. Yeah. And then when the ball hits the button, it's present again, and you're kind of there for a minute, and then it bounces away again. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's going to trigger it sometimes, but over time it'll trigger it maybe less frequently, and you can't control it,
Yeah, and it's random things sometimes that bring out the pain, like things you wouldn't expect. like there's a certain type of hug I like more than other types of hugs, which sounds weird because a hug's a hug, but there's a certain type of hug I really like.
So and sometimes I'll challenge that statement very strongly.
Okay. But there was one time on Loozapalooza a couple of weeks ago when Dave came up behind Ilka and gave her that type of hug that I love so much. And it was just like in that moment, they hug all the time and kiss all the time. And I think it's sweet and lovely. And I love their love for each other. But that one hug just really got me. And I was like, oh. And it just really hit me. And I had a really hard night after that.
That kind of thing where they're hugging the camera.
No, this was way before they started hugging the camera. It was just a hug between them, but it was the type of hug I like. And I don't know why, but it just hit me in that moment. I was like, oh, my hug, And so there's just little things, and they're not necessarily the things you would expect that trigger it. But, and that's fine. And it's good to have people that you can just say that to, I think actually even when that hug hit, I was chatting on the side with Jeroen. I was like, oh man, that just really got me. And it was okay. I could say that, you know, and it was a safe. It's having that community of trust where you're able to just be like, here, this is my raw emotion, and then go back to making jokes, because emotion's not like linear for me at all. Like I can be like really close to tears and also making really snarky, sarcastic comments and being like really funny at the same time. And you know, it's good to be able to share that.
Yeah, you kind of. And that's the thing, like emotions don't last a very long time necessarily. Like they're fleeting, and it's just like that fleeting emotion might come up like a million times a second, or that fleeting emotion, figuratively speaking. But I'm not going to say that it's as easy as choosing to disengage, but like for sure, like sometimes there is something that it's like, okay, you can step away even for a moment. And I know that in my household, there's people dealing with difficult things, like if someone's dealing with something really traumatic, and then I hear them, laughing out loud at a comedy. It's like, you know what? In some ways, good for you that you're able to do that. That you're able to do something to compartmentalize it, that you're able to step away from it for a wee bit, and that because it's so tempting to just say, okay, I'm going to wallow in this misery, that I'm going to just be feeling sad for as long as it takes, that I'm going to focus on this thing. But forcing yourself, whether it's Loozapalooza or reading a book or a comic or whatever, forcing yourself to do something else, I think is a good thing.
I mean, I try not to force myself to change but I try to just be there and be authentic and let it happen. So like, yeah, I could be at Loozapalooza and I could be having a miserable night. And I've had several where I've barely chatted, or where there was one I fell asleep during because I was so sick still from Corona, and I just slept through Loozapalooza. And but then like even having people reach out afterwards and be like, you were being really quiet today, you didn't say much. Is today a hard day for you? That like people would notice that, like random people on the internet that I only know virtually, who could tell by my lack of snarkiness that day I wasn't okay, and they're like, we can chat if you want, and that meant a lot to me, just to have those people there. And then sometimes I'm watching and I'm not having a good day, but then they start singing and they sing ridiculous stuff, and I start to have fun, and it starts to get better. I feel like, it's okay either way. If I don't feel better and I just sit there and fall asleep or am not able to really engage, that's okay. I don't have to, and it's nice to know that people notice and care, but it's also nice to just be allowed to be there however I'm feeling. And so, yeah, I've really loved the internet community that's been happening this year. And for me, Corona actually helped me, I think, this year, which is a pretty controversial thing to say, probably. But without Corona, everyone would be going about their normal lives, and their normal lives would not be online, and there wouldn't be these communities that have sprung up because people are stuck at home or don't know what to do with their time or their energy. And so there wouldn't be I wouldn't have found the support networks that I did find, Like, you wouldn't be streaming every day if Corona hadn't hit. The Loozas wouldn't have been streaming every day if Corona hadn't hit. So many people that have become so important to me now. That's just really strange. Like, do you like new board game smell? I like new book smell, but new board game?
I'm just curious about how it smells. This is a new thing. I've just taken it out of the shrink, and it's kind of smells like paint. Yeah, it kind of just smells chemically.
Yeah. I have my grandmother's deck of cards here. I like the smell of them. They smell gross, but they smell like my grandmother.
And
if that makes sense.
Hello, Rob. And speaking of people from the Loser Show, hey, Yoda.
I was just very indirectly talking about you. Hi.
And The whiff of a newly opened pack of cards. Yes, Pavlov would be proud. I'm probably going to make this screen a bit bigger and puts us in the corner. Sorry, I'll put you above me though, because you're saying more interesting. But
Yeah.
so you're more interesting than me. It's kind of, there's a hierarchy here.
You finally admitted it, Bez. I mean, we've been doing this stuff by Mike show for months now.
Yeah, it was all good, Yoda, of course. I do want to respond to something that you were saying about just being allowed to be there, because there was definitely a time when there's been times when I've been out and I've felt like, am I being too awkward? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it okay the way I'm acting right now? Am I don't feel like I'm able to engage, but just being allowed to be there, and it's like, okay. And just someone like, yeah, you can't engage, and that's totally okay.
You didn't get the box fart for Dutch Yoda. You're going to have to put it back on and try again.
Okay. Let me try and... Nope, no box farts. There we go. Did you hear that? Let me do it again.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely spent most of especially the first part of this year, being my worst self on the internet, and was still able to be accepted and loved. Because I just didn't have the energy to be a better version of me. And it was nice to be able to still be okay. People were still okay with me. They're like, you know what? You're going through a hard time. We'll put up with the fact that your jokes just aren't that funny, and then you just go over the top too much, and that whatever else. That's okay. We'll let you do that for a while.
Okay. Wow. So there's a lot that you're going to have to sign up for online, it looks like. Just on this.
If only we had a Portal Games expert in the chat.
And I actually quite like the fact that it looks like there's... So I've played a bit of Chronicles of Crime, obviously from Lucky Duck Games, that we had them on not so long ago. I reached out to Portal Games ages ago. Like, I've reached out multiple times to check, hey, would you be willing to come on one day? And yeah, never got back to me. But
we have one of their very important people, very important volunteers here in the chat right now. Not sure if you're aware of this, but I was watching a Portal Games stream recently with Dutch Yoda on it.
I was watching that as well. I watched wee bits of it before I went live myself on Tuesday evening.
I mean, I might have slightly distracted Dutch Yoda a little bit more than normal, and he might have thus lost for the first time in his life. But, it's all fun and games.
Okay, so this is the rule book, and that's the case book. Okay. So there's a bit to read through there, 16 pages. It looks... Oh. And...
So is this game just one scenario, or is it a lot of things?
It's a whole bunch of scenarios. It does say don't read. So there's 5 different scenarios. So there's 5 cases, it looks like. And it says don't read unless you... But then there is a wee expansion that I got, which is... Let me see if I can...
So Dutch, which one of the scenarios is the best?
I also got LA Crimes. But yeah, I'm assuming that it's best to start off with case 1.
Well, Dutch says it's an overall story, so I would think you would probably want to do them, in consecutive order.
Yeah. So there's Antares NIA. That's investigative agency, new investigative agency. What is the NIA? I don't know. I'm just distracted by this now.
Have you played them?
investigative agency. No, not investigative agency. They don't investigate stuff at all. What do you think NIA stands for? Or if you actually know, let us have our ignorance for a couple of minutes longer. What then? Maybe tell us in a couple of minutes. So, oh, cool. So it's double-sided.
Not into
so,
artichokes. I think that's the society of people who are just not into artichokes.
mm,
And the whole story is probably about the eradication of artichokes.
do you think it's like? Do you know Emma Larkins, designer of Abandon All Artichokes? Do you think this was inspired by Emma Larkins?
I definitely think Emma Larkins was a big inspiration for this. You know, her work's been very important in the board gaming community, and I can't see how really many of the board games coming out at all this year could not be related to her work. You know,
I feel like you know, Emma has done. Oh, nailed it! Awesome, says Hal. I like that. So, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, Antares, we nailed it! Awesome! High five, everyone! High 10, high 4, because we're going all fancy. Maybe high 6, just throw in a thumb from like the other finger. I don't know.
high 6.
High 6.
That's going to become a thing. I think like all the kids are going to be doing that now. It's going to be like high 6 and all over the playground.
You know, like that's exactly the crowd that we've got here. Like this show is all about the tweens.
I mean, I wasn't even going to go that old. I mean, I think what Aquasulis is 4, approximately.
So, find it quite interesting how all of these people are kind of photographs, like models, rather than paintings. It definitely gives it a slightly different vibe. And you start kind of thinking things, okay, these people are pretty good looking. I mean, check out Ben. Ben looks... Why is Ben a former FBI analyst? Why did Ben leave? I want to... What's going on here?
It's probably in the story.
Maybe.
I mean, I would think it is.
And Ben
Don't
has
worry
a
about it,
mental
Aqua.
age of 8.
I wasn't saying you're 4.
Too sexy for this game. Too sexy for this game. Because this game is so lame. I'm immortal, if you know what I mean. And this is why...
So raise your hands in chat if you want Bez to sing something for Twitch Sings for Mondays on Loozapalooza.
I can't see if you've okay.
I think you need to do Bez.
Mondays don't work for me though.
You record it in
Generally.
advance. You don't have to actually be there, and then you can watch it back later and see how they sang with you. You sing your part of the duet in advance and save it, and then you let them know that you did one, and then they'll sing the other half on stream. And you have the advantage of doing it in advance because you can try it a couple of times. Right, said Fred. No, I'm not. Is it pop culture again, Aqua? You know you get into trouble when you start asking me
right,
pop
said
culture.
Fred is what I was just singing. That's an actual song.
I wouldn't know that. So Aqua did these amazing clues for our Decrypto night last Sunday. They were auditory, like him playing tunes for each of the clues. And I'm sure they were brilliant because Aqua's brilliant, and it sounded amazing. Like I could have just listened to those on loop for a while. But my knowledge of pop culture led me to not get any of them at all, even slightly. Even after they were explained, I still just didn't get it. Because, yeah, pop culture, me, no. I don't know anything about music or film, actors, names, none of that. Board games. I might know board games, maybe. But only pre-2020 board games because I haven't been keeping track of what's even come out in 2020. Like, I don't know anymore.
Just looking through, and okay, so some of the cards from the first couple of cases came out. I think it's meant to be kept together, and you're not meant to look at it until you start off.
You just like said that it says not to look at anything, and then you started looking at stuff. So I'm like, well, I mean, that's a choice.
I didn't actually read anything.
Yeah, well, Aqua, you misinterpreted. My clues were also bad because one of them was very much targeted to Ilka, because I was team Ilka, and I was pretty sure Ilka would be on my team. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this clue, it's pretty obvious. I'll do this clue, it's pretty obvious. And then I'll do this one that could be either that word or that word. But since Ilka's on the team, she's totally going to know what I'm going for. And then awkwardly, Ilka didn't make it that day. So we didn't have any German speakers on our team. And my clue was very dependent on people understanding German. And so everybody else went very much pop culture and took my thing to be Captain What's-His-Face from the Whatever comics.
Beefheart? Oh, Captain Planet.
The one with the American flag.
Oh.
So they thought I was going for a comic character.
America.
Yeah, they thought I was going for this comic character, and I was totally like unfolding the flag like a passport, because the German, our word was pass, and the German word for passport is pass. So I had folded my flag into the size of a passport and was opening it and then check it out. And Ilka totally got it. She's like, oh yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's an American passport because State is American. But she wasn't there that night, and so we missed it. And so the fastest ever loss in Decrypto, probably worldwide, I'm claiming, I mean, a new record, I would think. We lost on round 2. So, yeah, high five. We did great. It was funny though. I do think it was one of the funniest streams we've ever had. Just like, no, nobody got any of it. And in fact, Dave's team also had 1 miss out of the 2 clues. So out of 4 clues given, only 1 team guessed 1 set right, which was pretty bad. So definitely an episode not to go rewatch on the Losapalooza channel. Just don't you don't want to see that.
I get that this is a car, and this is like some sort of bookie thing. I mean, this looks like, I don't know, some sort of illicit drug use or something.
I mean, relative to the size of the car, we have to assume that that is probably a nuclear power plant, or, I mean, it's much bigger than a car, so maybe it's a water tower. Oh, maybe it's upside down and it's really a tree, a blue tree, because someone has thrown blue.
Oh, car stopwatch. So people could actually tell, like.
Well, Dutch knows everything. I don't think that's being able to recognize it. I think that's just Dutch knows everything.
To be fair, Hal suggested stopwatch. I didn't. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
I mean,
I do like how this wee bag has the blue text on it. That's actually the first time I've seen wee printed baggies in a board game, I think. Caution, evidence. Wait, let me put a bit of white paper. That's not going to work. Look. Can sort of see it. It's properly printed, and then you put stuff in, and it looks like
because it says that it's evidence, and you already took it out and handled it. You contaminated it. How are you going to do the DNA test that comes up in episode 3? I mean, you're going to come back as the villain.
Yeah, these evidence bags are really evidence. Oh, I do wonder if. Oh, all the numbers are exactly the same. I was going to say, I wonder if there's some sort of secret code. Dutch, do you know anything about this code? Does that code mean anything? Like, I get POR is for Portal, and 2018 might be like when the game was first printed.
You know, though, if they do mean anything, Dutch can't tell you, because that would be a spoiler. So
yeah,
even admitting that Dutch knows anything either way. No, Dutch, I'm taking the question back. I'm not letting Bez ask you that question.
No, I'm not asking for spoilers.
I'm not letting Dutch answer at all, because if Dutch answers that question, either way, it's a spoiler. Because if Dutch says they mean nothing, that's spoiling that they mean nothing. But if Dutch says they mean something, that's spoiling
Also,
that they do.
if they mean nothing, then...
But it ruins your curiosity, because right now you're curious, and you'll be curious all the way to the end.
And then I'll
unless
be
Dutch says-
disappointed. And then I'll
Will
just be
you?
disappointed. Because it's like, oh, that could have meant something. Like, if it means nothing, I would like to know, okay, that's just an incidental detail. It doesn't mean anything. Don't get too hung up on that. So I don't, like, spend hours trying to work out this random sequence of numbers that doesn't actually mean anything.
I mean, that's hours of fun you will have solo gaming. I mean, we don't want to take that away from you.
So, Dutch, should I start with this and play LA Crimes after I play this, or which one is better to go first? Genuinely, is it this one or LA Crimes? Let me know. The best experience was going on in completely fresh, says Alex in chat. And Alex has a joke about the serial killer who turns out to be a factory worker contaminating loads of swabs.
I don't think that's a joke. I think that's probably something that actually happened. I mean,
I believe that.
That seems like something with another player. Aqua suggests it's better if you don't play alone. And Dutch prefers this one, but LA Crimes is shorter. So,
I mean, honestly, my opportunities to play with other humans right now are not as much as my times alone. So,
I'm guessing this is not the type of game that can be played virtually.
Would not imagine so, and honestly, it would. The reason that I got it was to kind of. It's not a joke.
No, you're putting it on upside down. You can't do that. Horrible, horrible. No. This is the internet. We care about things like that.
I could really freak out everyone. It can play virtually, says Dutch Yoda, but if I'm interested in both versions, should I? Is it fine to start with the LA Crime ones? Should I open that just now and then? Is it fine? Oh, there's 3 cases in this one. Is it fine to start with this one maybe, and then that'll?
Oh yeah, reading loads of small text does not sound like something that would be fun to do virtually. But if Aqua says it's more fun to go in completely blind, maybe you want to save that one to just open when you're about to start playing it rather than looking at it at all. I mean, you want to get your full experience out of it.
Like, Dutch Yoda, I will ask you, as the resident Portal Games volunteer, which one do you think I should go first? Dutch Yoda says starts with LA Crimes. Although they say you can, they don't say you should. But will I have to read this manual anyway? Because if I have to read this manual and then I'm reading this one as well to start off with this one, maybe it's geared up so that I play this one first. I mean, is that a can or you should? Which one do you recommend? I want your recommendation, Dutch Yoda, before I open this.
The weight of this decision lies with you.
Yeah. I'm just going to... Okay. So, have we determined that I cannot do ASMR?
What
I would have to be better at...
I mean, was that ASMR? I just found it grating. So... Oh gosh, I don't think I like ASMR if this is ASMR.
And today I'm going to do an unboxing. Today I'm going to open up this box. In all seriousness, I have no preference. I'll go with the first one and keep this one for later. And so
we're watching now as Bez turns away from the camera to put away a board game. Bez will then reach towards Detective and grab it gently.
It's opening.
Fez is opening the box. Listen. And then a box fart. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. So what do you think, Rob? Could we do it?
I am flipping through the box. I am flipping through the manual.
Bench will now turn the pages slowly, one at a time. Do I have to be that like soft and gentle while doing it though? Because I don't know if I can maintain that for an entire like 3.5 hours of a typical Bez 1 hour stream.
You cut me deep. Like, I work hard to stop every stream at 2 hours on the dot, 6 days a week, and you call it to 3.5 hours.
Well, I mean, just on average. You're very punctual 6 days a week, and then there's the other day. And the past. I mean, and there was that one night.
Yeah, in all seriousness, yes, apparently we are going to have this sort of calm voice from now on for an entire
Well, I am
stream.
apparently. You weren't voted for, so.
Hey,
You
calm
be your
voice,
normal
please.
wild self.
Calm voice, please, Xate. We are going to be calm on this channel. This is the Bezzy Preffy.
I'm not going to watch this stream. It's just getting too creepy. Hold on, let me make some pencil noise. Yeah, Rob, I think it's your turn. You want to jump in here?
Yeah. Rob can't jump into the camera if Rob wants. Okay, I am going to read this in my own time, and, well, not read that. I will read the rulebook because it's, and go through stuff. It looks definitely. It's not to choose your own adventure. There's no paragraph. No single card will win you the game. It must be deduced from clues you gather during the game. You won't get far if you merely cycle through the deck, trying to draw one card after the other, hoping that one last card in the chain will win you the game. It will not.
Dun dun dun.
I mean, I'm starting to feel quite intimidated. I don't know if I'm smart enough for this anymore.
Please. I have seen you play games. You do not need to be intimidated.
Have you actually seen me play games like that are of any complexity, though?
Bez?
Oh yeah, Euphoria. We played that together.
In the worst game of Euphoria I have ever played. Oh, it dragged so much for some reason. I actually really liked that game. It was just a horrible playthrough of it that day. You should give it another
player
chance.
count.
3. It was Yumi and Denim.
And
which sounds like an amazing day because Yumi and Denim, I mean, like, come on. But yeah, no, 3 is a little bit too few to play Euphoria anyway. And then teaching two people the game who didn't know it is also not the best way to do it. But yeah, it's definitely a better game at a higher player count and with people who at least sort of already know the rules. But definitely 4 and up. I wouldn't play it again at 3. In fact, that's the only time I've played it at 3, and I didn't like the 3-player. I didn't like the way that it worked because the mechanism of bumping people's dice just doesn't work as nicely at lower player counts. And so since then, I've decided I just don't pull it off the shelf if I don't have at least 4. So, which is unfortunate because I never have 4 people to play Euphoria currently, and it's a very good game.
That is a shame. I hear that the new expansion makes it better at the lower player counts.
Well, okay, I did one exception. Someone gifted me the expansion out of the blue at the start of the year just kind of as an encouragement. And so you did, and I played a 2-player version of it using that. And it is better at a lower player count using that, but we both also thought we'd still rather play it at 4. So we
Or
haven't
you'd
pulled it back
rather
out
play
again.
something else at 2.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of games that are good at 2, a lot of games that are good at 3. Well, I mean, a lot. I've recently come to my attention recently that my 100 games is nothing in comparison to most of everyone else's game collection.
I don't know, like 100 games is quite a lot. I mean, in the comments, in the chat, let us know, like, how many games do you have?
To be fair, a lot of those are already like they're in a huge pile of games I'm trying to sell or trade because they're not great games. They were games I got free or that I got way early on that are way too easy for me. So I think like 45 of them are games I'm not planning on playing again. So I don't...
Like, that still leaves more than 1 game a week. So, like, if you... Yeah. So you could...
I play my whole collection every year with the exception of now 2020 because I couldn't always play all the games because of player count. But I actually keep a list of what's been played and what hasn't, and anything that doesn't get played within 1 calendar year gets sold.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean, I've definitely got... I've definitely got multiple games that I've not played. I've got quite a big box of games that to be fair, I buy a lot of games that are just, okay, I'm getting these really cheap secondhand. And I don't know if you saw at the end of UK Games Expo where I got basically all the Aircon kinds of, hey, we don't want this stuff anymore. And someone give us some money for it, we'll give the money to charity sort of thing. So it's like, okay, well, I'll take basically all these cheap ones. They sound interesting enough that I'll get something out of even just reading the rules. Rob says that they have many hundreds, but Rob likes owning objects. 100 is a very good size collection.
I mean, I feel like 100 isn't bad if there are 100 games that I actually want to play. Because I do have, okay, during Corona, I have 1 game night a week, but that's from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night. We definitely play more than 1 game a week. I mean, we play on average 5 to 6 games. And during
so
that
means you're going to play each game maybe 5 times. If you've got 52 games, this
is Corona time. In not Corona time, I had 4 regular game nights a week. And so I was, I'm pretty tired of a lot of the games that I own. Just because, I was playing the same game. I mean, a lot of my games I've played 20 times and upwards, and I haven't been collecting games that long. So playing a game 20 times within, a year is a lot. So I wouldn't mind. I'm kind of desperate for some new games currently. I was lucky that through Quality Beast, I was able to get Root, which is new to me. And I'm getting to learn that, to teach it for Quality Beast. But that's the only new game I've gotten since Essen last year. Yeah. So.
Alex says they've got just over 100, which is mostly languishing right now. And I agree with Rob that present company is not indicative of the game playing world, because look, I mean, for goodness sake, like you and I spend multiple hours every day basically chatting about games, thinking about games. We are both seeking advancing careers in the board game industry, like in one way or another. Rob is like also a board game designer. Alex is a board game designer, not published yet, but and like Ben, I'm fairly sure you've done like a bit of work, and Yoda's like done some volunteering, and it's like, everyone's 300 and 350 games.
Yeah, most of my games I got from working at conventions, and then trading. Like when I worked for Fowers Games several times in a row, so I had like multiple copies of all their games. So you don't need multiple copies of all the same games. So I would trade them off and get other ones, which has been fun. And we're a bunch of nerds. Yeah, definitely. I'm okay with that,
And yeah, we do get really insular into a particular topic. I mean, a lot of my reading is to do with board games. And sometimes on board games and trying to make that a more enjoyable experience is what's kind of leading me towards psychology and user experience and things, and reading about that. And if I'm being honest, a lot of the time, like recently, I've tried to start saying, okay, you know what, after 5:30, if I'm still working, you know, I'll try to wind down, and I'll try to, it's like something where I say, okay, between 5:30 p.m. and 5:30 a.m., I'm going to try and not work. So like, you know, if I get up into the middle of the night, it's true, like there was a temptation to kind of, okay, what are people saying on Twitter or whatever, and although that sounds like, okay, that's not work, it kind of is, because like that whole marketing stuff, you know, it totally is. And I could find myself being like, oh, I'm just getting up, okay, I'll check social media, and then so trying to have times when I'm not doing things like that, where I'm not checking that, but I'll still be listening to podcasts about board games, or playing board games, which I might go on to talk about, or I might be thinking, oh, I wonder what do I think of this. And like last night when Layla and I had a long chat about how we felt our game of Empires of the North had gone down, that's kind of, it could be construed as some sort of work adjacent thing for sure, but it's like, it's certainly board game adjacent. And I know that Paul Grogan has this thing where they say, yeah, what are my hobbies? Well, it's just board games and that's it. And on the other hand, you have some people who've warned, when you get into an industry, you have to make sure that you do have other hobbies and other stuff that you enjoy. And it's a weird one, because right now it's like, what even is my work? Because let's be honest, yes, I'm doing work for the LDEC, but that's not something that's going to turn a profit. I've not done any decent design. Yeah, like I've done some contractual work. I've done a bit of consultation I've done about, let's say, 20 hours of work, maybe 30 hours of actual paid work in the last, since, if I'm being honest, like it's like this whole notion of what's his work, and is it money that validates us, or is it, you know what I mean? And like, what's his hobby? What's his job? Because I think I was talking to you on the phone about this, Kate, a while back, where I realized, you know what, I am going to end up doing some designs for money and some designs for fun. And like, if creating categorical, like the new deck, and creating coupled the deck after that, or any other future L decks, if I'm doing that, that has to be for fun. But for sure, there's some designs that I can say, okay, yeah, that's something that I could do for money. And if someone's actually paying me to do development for something, yeah, I could do that for money. And I am thinking that maybe when I go to Thailand, setting up some sorts of development studio where it's like, yeah, we can set up a camera and do recorded play tests, and give some sorts of feedback and advice along the way. And yeah, like that's the thing, like it's all intermingled. And then, but if you start going looser and looser, then at a certain point, it's like, even if I'm reading a comic, even if I'm reading, The Incredible Hulk, then you could say, okay, that's teaching me about storytelling, and maybe I'm going to use some of that in my art, because I think that when you are doing something creative, like for sure, yeah, you need to be creating sometimes, and sometimes you need to be learning about the craft, and sometimes you need to be resting, but also sometimes you need to be gaining, inspiration, if you know what I mean. And so it's like kind of, it's weird, because I don't want to say, oh, I'm going on a walk, and now how can I possibly do this walk as a way to make sure that Bez is the healthiest person at making games. Do you know what I mean? But in a way, like, I had this realization, not during the stream that you are thinking about, but during another time when I sent a long voice message to a whole bunch of people, to a group chat of about 30 people, and I thought at least one person would listen to it, and then I found out no one listened to it, because in the middle I kind of said, hey, if you're actually listening to this, like, please, this is like the secret code. It will be like so meaningful if you just tell me that you've actually bothered to listen to this. And the fact that no one bothered to say that they had told me, okay, no one's actually going to listen 8 minutes in. It was like an 18-minute thing, but it is kind of, anyway, so my whole realization was that, like, the things that matter to me the most are relationships, like, and are you laughing at this?
Yes. In the first set, you get letters A through D.
Yeah,
If
like,
you want to make good words, you're going to need to buy all of the sets.
Oh no, if you buy the common cards are the ones with the terrible letters. So if you buy, so the common card is something like just go off piece. It's something like HQ or
It's gonna happen now.
JR. Yeah, exactly. Buy the vowel expansion. Like one card in every pack, you get a vowel. So, like, if you want to get a really good deck of cards, if you want to play Mickle and get a really good score, well, you are going to need to buy more vowels.
But wouldn't that change the distribution? Because if you're buying multiple decks, then the numbers on the cards are no longer valid. You'd have to take those off.
The L deck, the CCG, it wouldn't have the numbers anymore, I guess. It would just have the letters, and it would be what's 26 times 26? It's about 5 something, for somewhere between 400 and 600. I don't know.
You don't know math?
No, I can't do 26 times 26 in my head.
676.
Nice. So yeah, exactly. Optimize the distribution on your own personal deck. So you want to buy lots of booster decks, and then the consonants just end up getting given away as gifts. Oh man, not another XZ card. And then but yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, like, going back to the points, like, it's like, what is important and why are we doing any of this? And like, I guess we find meaning where we can through like whatever validation. And I guess that's why relationships are such a meaningful thing, because you get to see someone else respond, you get to see someone else smile when you say something, and you feel like you've had some sorts of impact. And I think that's why I would much rather play a light game on Board Game Arena with Xate and Alan and Jess and have people on, video and voice, rather than play something now that, even though I would really like to play the Manhattan Projects again, I'm not sure that I would want to play it with you remotely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm really interested in that one, though. I hear good things about it.
What, from me?
Not just from you, but also from you.
Okay. Can you get to shiny SX?
Don't acknowledge that. I was hoping we could ignore that. I have so many answers to that, but none of them are going to be appropriate for this stream.
Well, SX is already... Oh, as in like SX... as in like sometimes you get cards that are just shiny. Like, I guess, because that's what Alex is talking about, how in a lot of these CCGs you get like shiny versions of cards, or you get alternate art versions of cards. Ooh, 1 in every 5 booster packs you get a shiny card, and 1 in every 10 you get, instead of the traditional typography, you get it written in triplicate. Like,
Yeah, this
could
is totally going to become a thing. I see this going on your to-do list later today. I have a feeling that
no,
that
this
Aqua
is
has.
not ever going to happen. I'm just saying, like, look, I'm not going to say, I'll never say never, but this is basically as close as I can get to saying never, with basically saying, this is, to me, it's like, yeah, just, I don't see much benefits. Yeah. I mean, you can't moderate people for salt and sass.
You
Oh my
can't
gosh,
moderate me
it's.
at all. Bez is the only one who can.
I mean, I could, and I did
You
accidentally.
did once, yeah.
Hmm.
Booted me
Yeah.
out of the chat, out of the stream, out of my mod status. Ruined my. I'm gonna go with 2020. I think like that's why I got Corona, is because you modded me that day. Took away my sword and my shield, and Actually, did they have Corona when that happened? I don't remember. Timelines.
I think it's 11:51 UK time, so we need to start wrapping up. And yes, oh yeah, what's happened? I did a detective box, and we chatted about Ambi and Crystal and about the crew.
I joined from a bathtub. I mean,
that was definitely the highlights of the show.
No,
It was.
but it was worth the joke.
It was the highlights of the show for me. I mean that you would go to that effort. I appreciated that. Chat about a couple of games I played that, yeah, I've already reviewed Point Salad, but yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I played it 4 times in the past week. So yeah, I'm likely
I didn't even talk about what I played. I played My City last night.
Oh, you never
My
mentioned that.
City.
You had a whole. What have you been doing?
My City.
Is that wait? That's not the Knit's. What's My City?
Yes, it is.
That is the Knit's one.
But we on Loozapalooza we do it with printouts, and so yesterday we did just the basic game that's on one side of the board if you buy the game. The other side you do the legacy on, and we have already done the entire legacy version of My City all the way through, which was really awesome and left me wanting to get a copy of My City because I want to do it again. And it's actually really easy to do remotely. So like if I had a copy and someone else had a copy, we could totally do the whole thing together, which would be really fun. I'd love to do that again, actually. It's, polyomino placement game. I like those for some reason. They're good.
You're all about the polyominoes. You have a cute button nose. You have 2 eyes and a mouth. And this song is going south.
Well, no, please. You said it was going to stay.
Yeah. South as in it's going bad. Have you ever heard that expression, going south as in being bad? Anyway, we need to recap. We need to wrap up. We've chatted about so much. We've chatted about how we are. We've chatted about sizes of collections and about the nature of work and about nothing in particular, really. Let's be honest. It's been lovely having you on, Xate.
Well, we talked a lot about feelings and serious stuff, which is apparently the nothing really.
I said about how we are.
Sure.
I said how we are. That was included.
I'm just you best.
Anyway, if you want to check me out, I'm stuffbeds.com, stuffbeds.bigcards.com, twitter.com/stuffbeds, instagram.com/stuffbeds, twitch.tv/stuffbeds. You can check me out any UK time every day, except for, well, including Tuesdays, when you can also find me at 8 p.m. UK time, and youtube.com/c/stuffbeds for the old episodes, and stuffbeds.com/discord, where you can talk more about this or whatever, and there will be another Best and Friends game day. And thank you everyone for joining along, and feel free to jump in on a future Friendly Friday forum. This is going to be just a regular, every Friday is just a chaotic thing. And now I say over to you, but it doesn't really apply this time. because it's been like about everyone the whole time. So like, over to who? What are you up to? Let's share anything more if we want to, or yeah, it's just like going forward.
I actually am streaming today.
Oh,
yeah. So at 4
what,
p.m.
from your own channel?
No, from Quality Beast. I will be streaming it from 4 to 6. Yes, from 4 to
UK
6.
time.
No, German time in German.
That's
So
3 to
basically,
5 UK time.
right. This announcement's basically only for like the 3 people watching who speak German. But I know Nicholas might be interested, and maybe some others. So yeah, from 4 to 6, probably streaming Kräutergarten, maybe streaming Root, maybe streaming Die Dame und der Tiger. We haven't actually decided, but it will be a German language stream of Quality Beast games with me and some other people. And it will probably be on Twitch, but it might be on Discord because this is the last week of our chaos as we're going into the print run of Seize the Bean. So not everything's completely worked out, but we'll be doing something, and come find us. If you can't find us, message me and I'll tell you where we are.
Awesome. And Rob is going to be chatting to Dave Mortimer and then watching Matthew Dunstan's stream. Oh, does Matthew have a... Yeah, I can't remember what their timing is. Remind us if you want. I am going to be doing a bit more writing, and then I'm going to be chatting to Jason, then a bit more writing, then in the evening, chilling out. I might play some detective. Who knows? We will see. We will see what happens. And so, yeah. Right. And Yoda is going to the doctor's this afternoon. I hope everything goes well. And yeah,
you okay?
Fingers crossed you're all healthy. Matt is 4 p.m. UK time, Monday and Friday, which is 5 p.m. German time. Or
I won't make that one for reasons.
That's fair. I mean, maybe a future Monday or Friday, you could.
Mondays, I could maybe check it out Monday. I hear Matt's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, Matt's is lovely. I would love to have Matt on my stream again. But yeah, if you want to check out my future streams, tomorrow I am chatting to Idol Michael about abandoning games. And we're going to chat about, yeah, like when you're playing a game, when is it appropriate to just say, you know what, this game isn't going well, this isn't fun, let's just stop it, let's just pack it in. That's what we're talking about tomorrow.
And he might have an experience with packing it in also, because I challenged him to a game of Virtual Root after that.
Okay. Was that a game that was packed in?
Packed in?
And that was a game that was packed in, as in stopped?
Well, he might have to stop it playing against me. He might just get so depressed. I have no idea. I don't know what packed in means. That's a British thing, I think.
It means kind of stopping.
Okay.
Lots of love and lots of love to Yoda, lots of love to everyone. Feel free to share, spread the word. If you're watching live on Twitch, as opposed to anyone who might watch potentially after the fact, or yep, I don't think anyone's watching on Facebook or YouTube right now. But if you're watching live on Twitch, then we are going to do a quick raid. I'm going either Millie, who's doing a I think an actual play of an RPG, or Amadeus, who's doing some music. Does anyone have any preferences?
I gotta go to work.
Okay, I am going to go to Amadeus because I might listen to a wee bits of their music. Or wait, but for now, I guess it is that time when I do have to say, what do I have to say? It's like I'm just struggling to find the words. kind of begins with a B, I think.
But, but, bye?
Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Sorry, I should have kept it. Let's do it again. Go.
Go.